Imagine all the stuff in the universe crammed into a space smaller than a pinhead. That's what it was like right before the Big Bang. Then boom, everything exploded outwards, creating space and time as we know it. The universe was incredibly hot and dense at first, but it started to cool down as it expanded. This early universe was like a giant cosmic soup of tiny particles, just waiting for something interesting to happen. As the universe cooled, those tiny particles started clumping together. It's a bit like dust bunnies forming under your bed, except on a much grander scale. These clumps got bigger and bigger, pulled together by gravity until they eventually collapsed under their own weight. This collapse created enormous pressure and heat at the center of these clumps, so much heat that hydrogen atoms started to fuse together, releasing a tremendous amount of energy. And just like that, the first stars were born. Our sun wasn't one of those first stars, though. It was born much later, in a giant cloud of gas and dust called a nebula. This nebula was probably the leftover material from previous generations of stars that had lived and died. These stellar explosions scattered heavier elements like carbon, oxygen, and iron throughout the universe. These elements would eventually become the building blocks of planets like Earth, and of course you and me. In a quiet corner of the Milky Way galaxy, that nebula where our sun was born, continued to swirl and churn. Tiny grains of dust, remnants of those long-dead stars, collided and stuck together. Over millions of years, these dust grains grew into larger and larger clumps, drawn together by gravity. Eventually, these clumps became planetesimals, the building blocks of planets. One of these planetesimals, orbiting the young sun, would eventually become our home Earth. Section 5, the Hadean Eon, a hellish cradle. The early Earth was nothing like the planet we know today. It was a hellish place, constantly bombarded by asteroids and comets left over from the solar system's formation. Volcanoes erupted across the surface, spewing molten lava and gases into the atmosphere. This period, known as the Hadean Eon, was a time of intense heat and chaos. But amidst this chaos, something amazing was happening. The seeds of life were being sown. Section 6, water, everywhere. As Earth cooled down, water vapor released from those volcanic eruptions began to condense in the atmosphere. This led to torrential rains that lasted for millions of years, eventually forming the first oceans. These oceans played a crucial role in the development of life, acting as a giant test tube where the first organic molecules could form and interact. Section 7, a breath of fresh air. The atmosphere emerges. The early atmosphere was very different from the air we breathe today. It was mostly carbon dioxide, nitrogen and water vapor, with only trace amounts of oxygen. But as life emerged in the oceans, things began to change. Tiny organisms called cyanobacteria evolved the ability to photosynthesize, using sunlight to convert carbon dioxide and water into energy and releasing oxygen as a byproduct. Over billions of years, this process gradually transformed the atmosphere, paving the way for oxygen-breathing creatures like us. Section 8, life finds a foothold. The emergence of life on Earth is one of the most remarkable events in the history of the universe. Exactly how it happened is still a mystery, but we know that life is incredibly resilient. From those humble beginnings in the primordial soup, life diversified and evolved, eventually colonizing every corner of our planet, from the highest mountains to the deepest ocean trenches. Section 9, our pale blue dot, a cosmic miracle. As we look out into the vastness of space, we realize just how precious and unique our planet truly is. Earth is the only place we know of that harbors life, and it's all thanks to a remarkable chain of events that began billions of years ago with the Big Bang. From the ashes of dead stars to the formation of our solar system, the birth of Earth, and the emergence of life, our planet's story is a testament to the incredible power of the cosmos, and a reminder that we must cherish and protect this pale blue dot, our only home.